Okay, we did review your counter proposals, and we have an answer, or answers.
Okay.
All right? Starting with the preamble, we're going to go through each one and kind of share with you where we are. On the preamble, we have a problem with our negotiations chairperson's last name. It's Sabers.
Okay.
Hatch Sabers. Hyphenated.
Hatch Sabers, okay.
S-A-B-E-R?
S.
Okay. S-A-B-E-R-S. Okay.
I know. All right, yeah, that's it. Other than that,
We accept that change, yes.
right.
There's a TA. Thank you, appreciate it.
Hey, that's a check for Mike.
Not a challenge, huh?
That's a pretty easy fix.
All right. Okay, Article 2, Rights and Responsibilities, Section F. We are in agreement with keeping current language.
Okay.
Article 2, Section G. We're in agreement with keeping current language and move forward in JINC to synchronize the two documents.
Okay.
Article 2, Section O. We're in agreement with your counterproposal. Article 2, Section Q. We have a few questions.
Okay.
The first one deals with the first, in paragraph number 2, that's Article 2, Rights and Responsibilities, Section Q, ESE employees, physical restraint procedures. Our question is in the change of removing the word display and adding in experience crisis. We need an understanding of why the need for that change.
It is just the, it's the language that's being used by ESE currently. They don't see that students display behaviors, they're experiencing a crisis behavior. It's the same, the intent is the same, it's just as in a lot of our programs, as time moves on, the language involved changes. And so this is just the language that they're currently using in the ESE world to talk about children who are having issues related to their disabilities. It's not any intent to really, it's not intended to change the intent of what is there currently. It is just, this is the language that ESE uses currently to talk about children.
Okay. Any additional questions by anybody?
My question is, what if the child looks like he definitely needs to be restrained, and then later he says, I was not experiencing a crisis?
That's not really the intent. It's, you know, Mr. Burke pointed out that the term display may have some kind of negative connotation, that it looks as though they're making it up, or it's some kind of, it's not, it's to say experiencing a crisis isn't to talk about what the child feels like they're doing, but what the observable behaviors are.
You're okay with that?
All right. Okay, we just want to make sure that, excuse me, we're being, you know, accurately descriptive of what's to take place and when restraint is appropriate. The piece that gives me comfort to some degree is the fact that the behaviors that may require use of restraint is what we're really talking about.
Correct.
Right.
And like I said, these were changes we had our ESE director go through because we had wanted to take it out and just rely on policy. And I said, well, at least do me the favor of going through our current language and making sure it aligns with our current practices and the current terminology that's used in the ESE world, because that's not my world, that's theirs, so I rely on our experts, and this is how they term a child who at some point may have said, oh, they're throwing a fit. This, they're saying experiencing a crisis behavior, because saying someone's throwing a fit means that it's intentional. Displaying behavior can be it's intentional. That's not what this is. This is as a result of their disability, they're having a crisis moment.
Okay. And I guess another reason it brought a question to us was in reviewing district policy, didn't really see that terminology being used. You know, so that kind of made it in question for us. All right. Excuse me. And in number 5, it is my understanding, based on, you know, reading the change you made, that emotionally handicapped and severely emotionally disturbed are both comprised in the EBD area.
Right. If
Is
you
that
see up
correct?
at the top, we talk about emotional/behavioral disability, and they just refer to it as EBD now.
Right. So, okay.
That is the intent, because you'll see it's the same terminology. Again, this is verbiage that was used at one time by our ESC department. They're no longer using that terminology. They're
Right.
referring to kids who have issues EBD and ASD.
All right. And we looked at board policy and on the changes you made in number 9. And we find that basically they're consistent with board policy. And so the strikeout versus the ones that are underlined, meaning the new additions, we feel that they are pretty consistent with what district policy says. Number 10, we have a problem with the form that's listed there, because the form doesn't allow for these items that we have listed that should be included. You know, they're not a part of the current form.
The list of items that are being included is what's included in the log, and that's required by the state. The FLDOE restraint and seclusion database, and then the schools maintain a log. That's what the information there in 9, all those enumerated paragraphs, that's what is to be in the log and in the state database. Informing the parent is a different issue. They inform the parent verbally and through this form. So
Right.
it's two separate things.
Okay. Then on number 11, the last sentence, the new addition, about employees being required to review this data and follow up on the behaviors. We failed to find that in district policy.
Okay, we can check with our ESE division. This was a suggested change that they requested,
Okay.
that we request of you.
Okay, yeah, because that's a requirement of our members that we, you know, really could not find in there, and we didn't want to place any new requirements on this, on our employees. And other than those items we've mentioned, we're in agreement. We just, you know, number 11 does create a challenge for us.
I will take a break when we have a moment and talk to our ESE director and see if that's something that's really important to them, or if it's something that can come off.
And if you could ask them to cite the specific policy.
Okay, I
Because
can
the
do
policy
that.
we reviewed did not have that language.
Okay, and Article 4, Section C. We're going with current language as well.
Section B or C?
I'm sorry. Article 4, Section B,
Okay,
posting and filling vacancies. Current language.
okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Hatch-Savers.
You'll have to remind us of that, Patty, for a little while.
Okay, Article 4, Section C, which is I was reading from. Vacancies, transfers, UATs, layoffs, callbacks, and employment contracts on voluntary transfer period. We're in agreement with the change to item 2C, and that high-need school teachers can transfer at the end of their probationary period to a high-need school from a non-high-need school.
Okay.
And we agreed to the changes that we've come up with, on Article 8, Section N, mandatory in-service, and the reopener be a part. And we didn't see the need to add that as a reopener in the preamble. If you notice, we didn't say that.
And I agree with you. I don't think it belongs there. I think
Okay.
it belongs here.
All right. Okay. Then on Appendix D. The additional period supplement, and we're going to go with current language. And on Appendix B, we can agree to the change in Category 6 and the changes in Categories 10 and 11. And we agree with the academic coach language.
All right.
And as far as Article 8, compensation and benefits, Section A, salary, as well as Appendix A, open range, grandfathered, and performance pay salary schedules, a name that I think we need to probably change. We're in agreement with the district.
All right, so the only outstanding issue is that paragraph 11 in 2Q.
Correct.
All right, so if you give me, let me see if I can get Kevin McCormick on the phone, and maybe we have TA on everything, and we're done.
All right?
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, and we just wanted to be sure that in Section A, salary, in number 1, where it says effective July 1, to our members, they need to, terminology is everything sometimes. So that means that this contract is retroactive back to July 1.
July 1, 2018, yes.
2018, correct. All right. So it is retroactive back to July 1.
Correct.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, just give me a few minutes to see if I can find Kevin McCormick, and then I think we probably have a deal.
Okay, and do you have clean copies of this?
I will print them out if you want. We can let everybody go, and you and I can sign them. When my office will just print them out over again. We have clean copies on everything.
All right, once you come back with the other information.
Correct.
Okay, all right, no problem.